Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. We're going to have one heck of an episode for you. But before we get into it, if you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go to the website. That's the lostart.podbean.com. There's all kinds of good information about what we got going on there. There's a merchandise tab. You can click on that, go in there, get you some cool gear if you really want to. You can also sign up. There's a spot on there that says record your story. You just click that and you can go in and sign up to do exactly what we're doing today. Big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project, man. They're out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you go back and check them out again. I keep saying it every time, but that is an amazing organization. You can find them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
All right, here we are, man. I got Cory Hunnicutt here, man. Commission possible from the Ticker Talkers. I found him on there. I reached out and he said, yeah, absolutely. I'll come on and do this. I'm excited about it. Cory, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I get to hear your story today. So, hey, no issues here.
Right on.
Well, shoot. Hey man, let's just jump right into it. Why don't you talk about where you grew up? Tell us a little bit about that. What was that like? And then what drew you to military service?
Yeah. So I was born in a little town. It's not so little anymore, called Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's a suburb of Charlotte, about 20-30 minutes away from there. From there, we moved to North Myrtle Beach, a little beach town called Cherry Grove, South Carolina. It's one of the little sections of North Myrtle Beach. Lived there for a while I was a kid. We ended up moving back to Rock Hill when my dad got out of the Air Force. He retired as a major. He's also a Vietnam vet. He did a couple of pumps over there and got a combat commissioned.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Then he said, I'm out. And he went to the Air Force. So he got kind of smart, what he said. And so he was a SATCOM officer there.
Okay.
And the first year or so of my life, he was stationed in the wonderful Thule, Greenland. And at that time, it was non-accompanied, so we stayed back.
Right.
And then we moved back to Rock Hill while he was gone. Spent a lot of time getting raised by my grandparents because my mom was working full time, you know. And went to school there, wrestled, all that good stuff. In high school, I joined the JROTC program. It was Air Force, and because that's what my dad wanted me to do, and I'll go into that on the next thing. Yeah, I graduated high school in 2003, about a year early.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. I graduated when I was 16, actually. So really 2 years early, but.
Holy cow.
But that's when I joined the Marine Corps, when I was 17. So that's where I'm from and where I grew up. You want me to go ahead and tell you about like what made me want to join the military, or?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So, I don't know how old you are if you want to disclose it on here, but I'm 39. I feel like I'm 60 though, but back when I was like 4 years old, there used to be a deal on, I don't know if you remember it. It was called A Current Affair. had like a pyramid that came on at the beginning of it. Kind of like Entertainment Tonight, one of those tabloid shows.
Okay.
Anyways, I was watching it with my parents, and they were doing a special on Paris Island and recruit training. And I remember right then, like at 4 years old, just seeing, you know, the recruits going through what they were going through. And I guess I was pretty crazy then, like I am now, but I just said to myself, you know, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So, you know, I told my parents, you know, over the years, and my dad was always like, no, you're not going to the Marines. You know, they brainwash you, you know, all the same shit that everybody tells you about the Marine Corps. I mean, it's true. It's a cult, you know, but so it was always, you know, you're going to go to the Army, you're going to go to the Air Force. And that's kind of how I was raised, but I never lost touch in that. And I over the years, I really didn't care, you know, like as long as I got to serve. And then what was Murder, She Wrote was when it came time for me to go to high school. And I told my dad I wanted to join JROTC. Where we lived at the time, there was another high school that had a Marine option there. And so I really wanted to do that, but my dad moved us across town and put me into the Rock Hill High School district. And so I ended up having to go to Air Force ROTC. It was all fabricated, for sure. And yeah, so if you can't tell where this is going, I'm really hard-headed. So I'll just go ahead and say, you know, I probably should have listened to Dad, but I wouldn't change any of it. So ninth grade year, you only get to do like ROTC one semester your freshman year. So I did it the spring semester, and I was super involved. You know, I did all the little clubs or whatnot, nerding out. And they took a trip down to Paris Island. That was Murder, She Wrote right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I still got the picture from it. So this is like in 2000, 2000 into 2001, 2000.
Okay.
So we go to Paris Island. We're there for a week is what it was, like a little mini boot camp thing. And I mean, it gave me wood, you know, there's no other way around that.
Right.
I loved it. It was a fun experience. And that right there sealed the deal for me. That's when I knew that I was going to be a Marine. And so we came back home, and 10th grade kicked off, and there was a Marine Corps recruiter, Sir Charles Santangelo, who means the world to me. Rest in peace. He started talking to me, and he didn't have to talk to me that young, you know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I was going to graduate early. So, and I was wrestling and all this, and he just took on to me kind of like a big brother. I mean, he went above and beyond, and you don't really hear that too much about recruiting stories, you know?
Right.
And so my sophomore year, I got injured wrestling, and thought I broke my neck. I like the way I hit the mat. I went paralyzed for like 5 minutes, and luckily I'm not. But my feeling came back within a matter of minutes. And I remember talking to him, and he's like, you should, if you want to pursue the Marine Corps, you better, quit wrestling before you really injure yourself, or else you're not going to be able to join. So I did, and I just went all in with the ROTC thing more than what I did before. It's kind of my forte. And so finally, later that year, I got my dad to kind of come on board with the idea of joining. And around that time, the recruiter, Sergeant Santangelo, he ended up passing away from a heart attack right after one of the little pulley functions. And I didn't expect it, but my dad ended up driving me up to New Jersey, to Hainesport, which is where he was from. And we went to his funeral and all that. And then, once again, Murder, She Wrote. They had the body bearers out there from 8th and I came in, with their dress white pants on and all that good trash. And I was just blown away by the, performance that they put on during that, showing, how much they would do for their brothers or sisters or whatnot, and their families. So, that's what really got me. I ended up having another recruiter. I don't care. I'm going to call him out. His name is Sergeant Miller. I don't know where he was from, but this guy had gold teeth. He had a full grill.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that in active duty.
I don't know, man. It was wild. He was definitely the recruiter type, if you get what I'm saying. So all the empty promises or whatnot. But so that brings me on to graduating or whatever. I got my shit together. Like most young boys, got to a little bit of trouble here and there. Nothing too crazy. And I got called down to the office thinking it was going to be bad. And they handed me, it's my beginning of my sophomore year, actually, they handed me a certificate, and it said, for outstanding Native American achievement, because my dad was full-blooded Native American.
Oh, wow.
And on the certificate, it said,
what
Cherokee and Catawba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So Catawba's like a small band, kind of disbanded from the Cherokee tribe. And they call us the people of the river. And anyways, on the certificate, it said, for outstanding Native American achievement. And then the letter, it said 70% of Native American students drop out of high school by the 9th grade. And that kind of hit me. And I was like, I don't want to be that kind of statistic. And around that same time, they were sending letters out to members of the tribe to their homes. And there was a protest going on or whatnot, where the students couldn't come to school. It was crazy. And in the 21st century. Yeah.
Huh.
And so I was like, I got to get the hell out of here, and I got to do something with my life. So I ended up applying myself, made straight A's, and I couldn't wait any longer. I was ready to go. So I talked to my counselor, and my counselor said, yeah, you qualify. You're in advanced classes. So if you want to graduate early, you can graduate. We'll just give you a certificate, but you can't walk the stage unless you want to walk the year you're supposed to graduate. And I said, all right, good to go. So on my 17th birthday,
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people like graduating juniors and stuff like that. So I graduated as a junior. I ended
Okay.
up skipping a grade in grade school
Hmm.
as well because everybody thought I had ADHD. I was just too smart, I guess. But um, yeah. So signed on the dotted line. Joined to be a tanker in 1812. Um, and probably about 2 weeks before I went to MEPS, I had to get an eye exam done, and it was conveniently located right across from the recruiting office. I found out that I was red-green deficient colorblind,
Oh, wow.
which is actually pretty common in boys. And uh, so that disqualified me from that. So that was my first taste of the green weenie, and I got put as a as a diesel mechanic. Uh, I want to say that was 35, 31, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't finish MOS school. I'll get to that. But uh, so I shipped off to Paris Island in December 2003.
Okay.
And went through receiving, obviously. The day we got picked up, everybody knows is Black Friday.
Yeah.
By our drill instructors. And so our senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Hood, picked us up, was marching us from the receiving barracks to 2nd Battalion Chow Hall, which is what I became a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been practicing drill. Like I said, I was in ROTC, but I was just infatuated with being a Marine. So I watched, the VHS tapes and DVDs, all the Marine Corps stuff I could before I went and learned how to drill like a Marine as best as I could. And so I'm like literally in the back of the formation in the middle of it. And it's, 0 dark, whatever in the morning. And all of a sudden I get a moonbeam flashlight straight to the eyes, blinded me. And the senior drill instructor pulled me out and pulled me to the front and took the guidon out of this dude Parker's hands and handed it to me and was like, "Your guide now." And I was like, "Holy shit." Because, I'm still 17 and I'd been talking to these guys, and receiving. They're like, if they're not older teenagers, they're in their early 20s. And some of them were 29, right at the cutoff. And I was like, oh my God. All right. Well, so I was continued marching to the Chow Hall. And then we got picked up, obviously. And I was guide all the way through BWT, basic warrior training, right before the Crucible,
Right.
And we were doing, I think it was final drill. Final drill. And about a couple days before that, we went on that 10-mile hump.
Yeah.
And my kill hat ran up and jerked the straps on my Alice pack. And a lot of young devil dogs don't even know what that is, but I made a video the other day called Salty as Fuck, and it has like all the different things throughout your service, and it took off. And I've made 3 parts of it already, but
nice.
So this was like right at the beginning, like at the end of 2nd Battalion, you hook a right and you're like going over this bridge over the marsh and you're heading out towards the gas chamber. And he jerked the straps and my arm and I'm holding the guide on, and my arms like started to go numb. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
no.
shit. And so I'm like reaching over, trying to hold the guide on up with my left hand.
Yeah.
And I'm getting, screamed at about that. And I'm like, this recruit can't feel his arms, sir, and anyway, got back. I woke up the next morning and I couldn't move my arms. They were like spaghetti noodles.
Wow.
So they sent me to BAS, and they cleared me. They're just like, here's some naproxen, pound a lot of water.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
so we did the final drill. And during final drill, I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. My arms just went dead, and the tip of the guidon spear hit the deck. And that was it for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Wow.
as soon as we got back to squad bay, I was fired. Yeah, it was soul crushing in the moment, but I didn't have to pay for everybody's mistakes anymore. At that point, I was general population.
Yeah,
So,
there's always that.
Yeah. And so we went on through boot camp. I graduated March 26, 2004, platoon 2024, 2nd Battalion Golf Company. Era. And were you 2nd Battalion?
When I was a drill instructor, I was 2nd Battalion. I was with Fox Company, though.
Okay. Yeah, those were the barracks right next door to us.
Yeah.
Or squad bay, sorry. And so went home on boot leave, obviously, for 10 days. Went to MCT, Camp Geiger, Camp Devil Dog in Lejeune. Graduated from there. My parents picked me up. We went out to eat. They went to drop me off at back at Camp Geiger or Camp Johnson for Motor T mechanic school.
Right.
And got processed in there or whatnot. And I was telling you, my dad was a Vietnam vet. He legit had, Agent Orange or whatever, and was sick all my life. So we got a phone call, my command did, and it was a Red Cross message. My dad didn't have long to live or whatnot, so they sent me home on HUM's orders, humanitarian service orders or whatever it is, where you can take care of a family member during an emergency.
Right.
And it's only supposed to be for like so long.
They attach you to a like a reserve unit in that area, correct?
Exactly. Yep. So I got attached to at the time it was Delta Company, 8th Tank Battalion in Eastover, South Carolina, which is I hate to say suburb because it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's a suburb of Columbia, South Carolina, the capital. And so I got attached there, and I actually spent like 6 months or so on HUM's orders.
Wow.
Because my dad went terminal, and the VA ruptured one of his lungs and it never went back up. So only had like 20% of one lung working. And my mom ended up getting breast cancer in one of her breasts, and it was stage 4B. So I was like faced with losing both of my parents, at the same time. I was taking care of both of them. And so, I that's a wild story too. Her doctor, Dr. Patel, like a lot of them, he actually was on like in the Oprah Winfrey show at the time, and he came to my mom and like wanted to write a book about, you know, our lives and stuff and how I came home and took care of them or whatnot. And
Wow.
we respectfully declined that. And so my dad ended up passing away, and fortunately my mom, you know, pulled through.
That's good.
And yeah. And so while I was attached to that reserve unit, since I wasn't MOS qualified, I couldn't deploy or anything. So they sent me to LAR school. So
oh wow.
Not only did I go through MCT, like all the other pogues, I ended up having to go to ITB, the Infantry Training Battalion, out west in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
Because that's where LAV school is. So all that shit that I talked about, Hollywood Marines, and that you hear, you know, came to fruition and was a slap in the face, because I learned all about the Alpha Shelf and going up north and Mount Motherfucker and all that.
Right.
So ITB, and then graduated, went right next door, reported into LAV school. And then from there, graduated, went back, reported in. I spent most of my time on orders, doing funeral details. And stuff like that. I got transferred into the reserves.
All right, good. So I had a phone call come in to cut everything off.
Oh yeah, that happened.
So I got transferred into the reserve, I guess just because of how long the orders for HUMs took or whatnot. And so I stayed on orders with them, doing funeral details. They call it ADOS orders, active duty support.
Okay.
And I ended up dropping my package to go back on active duty. But I had to do what's called an inter-unit transfer. And I transferred up to Charlotte. There was a reserve unit up there because my kid ended up getting sick. And I needed to be closer to home. And so I stayed on orders up there in Charlotte, and that was a maintenance battalion. So they didn't have any need for O3s.
Right.
And so they put me in an admin shop.
Oh wow.
And yeah. And
that's quite a bit different.
Way different. But you know, they ate it up because I was, you know, snapping and popping and yes, sergeant, no sergeant, you know, right away. I was a corporal. But customs and courtesies were a big thing for me. So I was just happy to be a Marine still. And so I stayed on orders with them for a year. It took about a year for me to get approved to go back on active duty.
Okay.
But I ended up picking up the admin MOS 0151.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, weird enough, I loved it. I mean, one, I didn't have to hump everywhere, you know, anymore. And I didn't have to smell like diesel fuel on FRH, you know, from being in an LAV. But I missed it for sure. And, everybody in my unit was in Iraq. And so that sucked. But
Mhm.
um, so they didn't have um, any spots or whatever for 0313s um, coming back on. They told me I had to stay admin. And
Coming back to active duty, you're saying?
yeah, so they put me in what's called the AR program,
Hmm.
the active reserve. So you support, reservist or whatnot. Um, so I thought I was going from that I&I duty to another I&I duty. But, the Marine Corps obviously had other plans for me. So I got sent up to Camp Lejeune to Second MEF headquarters. So I worked in the general's building
Yeah.
at an office in the G1 called the RLO, which was the Reserve Liaison Office. So all the reservists mobilizing uh, on orders
Hmm.
for garrison duty or forward deploying had to come through there. Um, and I made a name for myself like I usually do in good and bad ways. Um, but it was, it was a good experience. I was a little too much for them to handle. Uh, I wasn't used to the fact that there were lance corporals just standing around talking to master guns, shooting the shit with them.
Right.
And I would correct them and tell them, to stand at parade rest and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
the master guns is like, oh no, we don't do that here. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't do that here? It's the Marine Corps, man. You know, they're like, no, it's a relaxed environment. My mind was blown. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Completely different world.
yeah, way different. I was not used to that. And so I'd made a lot of friends, I guess you could say, and acquaintances with a lot of higher ups, not just senior enlisted. Uh, one of them was the IG, and then like a couple full birds,
Hmm.
because I got all their shit straight,
Hmm.
and was just on it. And Marines love to get paid, and they
Yeah.
like to get paid on time, and they like
Yeah.
to hear when they get back pay, right?
Very true.
So uh, I knew that if I took care of them, they would take care of me. So uh, I was like, one of the reasons I wanted to be a Marine was to be a drill instructor. Uh,
Hmm.
and so I was, prepping my package for that. And I had a lieutenant colonel who was an OIC. I'd never seen a lieutenant colonel just as an OIC, but
Right.
he was a former fighter pilot and went commercial airlines, and he was mobilized on orders. So they just stuck him in an operations office. And so he loved me to death, and was like, Sergeant Hunnicutt, why don't you write up a package for yourself? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. He's like, I want you to go up for the meritorious staff sergeant board.
Oh, nice.
And so I put all that together, and
Hmm.
we had a female master guns that didn't like that. She was like, you can't recommend yourself for it. I said, I didn't recommend myself. You know, Lieutenant Colonel Parrish did. Uh, and I had like letters of recommendation from two colonels, the IG,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember Lieutenant General Halleck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the commanding general of 2MEF at the time. He just came from MARSOC. He was like the first
Okay.
commanding general of MARSOC.
Yeah.
And
What year was that?
2009.
9. Okay.
Well, that's when I was with him. I think he got the 2MEF in 2008.
Okay.
But so anyways, I got a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth from that female master gun. She was pretty sexist. And so I was like, well, when in Rome, I was, wanting to get the heck out of there. So I, volunteered for deployment. I wanted to go to Iraq at the time. It was winding down and turning into Inherent Resolve.
Right.
And they were like, nope, you're going to Djibouti, Africa.
Yeah.
So Green Weenie strikes again. So I took an IA billet and got the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't even in country a week. And it's a joint task force at Camp Lemonnier. So, you got everybody there from all over the world. And I was the only Marine in my NDOC class.
Wow.
And so they called me up or Fallen told me, they're like, we got a lot of SOTC guys or whatnot there because they had a separate camp. And they did a lot of missions downrange, whatnot. And they're like, we're standing up the first mortuary affairs detachment. And I went over there to run a processing center,
Yeah.
for incoming personnel and like TADs and all that. And so they're like, you're the only Marine. You can't say no. I was like, Roger that. And, I didn't want to be around dead bodies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who really does, But
Very true.
so helped stood up the first mortuary affairs detachment out there.
Wow.
And that didn't last too long. We ended up losing power out there, and the refrigeration units went out. So
Oh,
the diesel
man.
kicked on, and then the diesel ran out. So we had to like rotate, shifts, watching bodies or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like the transfer cases that the
Right.
bodies were in, and you're supposed to keep those transfer cases packed with like 18 pounds of ice.
Oh, wow.
Well, if they're not in a refrigeration unit,
Yeah.
ice melts,
Yeah.
and so the stench and the body starts going through decomposition and all that, and it was pretty gnarly stuff.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that hit me pretty hard. So I let me switch over. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, hold on one second.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I guess I did that for like a couple of months, and I couldn't sleep. Just I was having like nightmares and stuff from that.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, a lot of guys and gals have seen way worse, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, just something like that, stuck with me. Just, you come to that realization, like where you see like death like that, and you just, I don't know, it just does something to you. So
Right.
I couldn't sleep for like almost 2 weeks, and they put me on Wellbutrin, Zoloft, Ambien, and I would wake up from the Ambien. So they made me take Benadryl to go back to sleep, and then I wasn't sleeping on that. Eventually, it got
Jeez.
better.
Yeah.
It got better. And so I got bored, staying in an office all the time. And once again, took care of people. So they took care of me. Made friends with a sergeant first class in the Army. He was part of a civil affairs unit out there. So I volunteered to go with them. He asked me if I'd like to go out. I said, hell yeah. And anything to get out of here.
Yeah.
And that's like a common denominator I found in the military. And so I did a lot of civil affairs missions with them. Go out, shake hands, win hearts and minds, stroke checks. Sorry that, your house got messed up, or we killed your goat, whatever, and write them a check. And, so I ended up picking up both of those MOSs, like as OJT as well. The mortuary affairs was in 0471. Then I got 0531 civil affairs NCO.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I rotated back to 2 meth and got put into manpower. And so I controlled, as a sergeant, I controlled the entire East Coast, like staffing.
Wow.
For the second meth. So from Quantico all the way down to Florida.
Holy cow.
Into CENTCOM. Anybody that needed to fill a billet. It was an E9 spot, but the E9 left. And then ironically, that female master guns happened to get moved into that office because she had already dropped her pack. She was on her way out to retire. So she got moved into the office, but I was running the show.
Yeah.
And I got ahead of myself just a little bit while I was still in Africa. The civil affairs unit put me up for an ARCOM.
Yeah.
And it was all written up. I had the award. I had the write-up. Took it to what was called the MLO, the Marine Liaison Office. Since I was an IA, I had to report to the MLO for them to handle all my administrative matters.
Right.
Ironically, that was ran by female master guns and a full bird colonel. They were the only 2 Marines in there.
Wow.
And she was like, I'm not submitting that because I don't have an ARCOM. My colonel doesn't have an ARCOM. And you're just a sergeant. I said, Roger that.
Wow.
She's like, I'm going to make a phone call. So she ended up calling the Civil Affairs Battalion, and then it went all the way up to AFRICOM and Stuttgart. And they knocked it down to an Army Achievement Medal. It's whatever. I got an Army Achievement Medal out of it. So be it. And then, like I said, I was running manpower, turned that whole ship around, and like redid all the SOPs and stuff like that. And ended up, they tried to give me hell about getting the Army Achievement Medal put on my record at the IPAC. They're like, we can't run this. You don't rate it. But my new OIC, who was a female major, she took on to me really well. She got like injured from a mortar attack or something like that,
Mhm.
or suicide bomber in Iraq. So she kind of related to me about PTSD and all that stuff because I was going through some stuff, again,
Yeah.
not sleeping and all that. And she got it put on my record. And so I ended up getting orders to one of three duty stations. So I put in for West Palm Beach was my first choice.
Okay.
That was 4th Anglico for I&I duty.
Mm-hmm.
And because in my mind, I was like, well, if I get there, the way that reserve units work, and whether you're active duty or reserve there,
Mm-hmm.
it's the good old boys club.
Right.
Everybody seems to get in good with everybody and do favors for one another. So I was like, I could get my jump wings, and it's a shot or
Yeah.
whatnot. I had a TSSCI, so I was like, I could do that. I could get jump wings. I could go MARSOC. There were like a lot of options. The drill instructor thing was still on the table.
Right.
For me, at least it was. But the AR program only had like one spot per year or something like that for
Oh,
drill
wow.
instructors.
Yeah.
They were AR. So it was highly, highly competitive. And they didn't stop me from submitting a package. Obviously, I didn't get it. But my second duty station choice was, can you guess? Every Marine puts in for it.
MSG. I don't know what.
K-Bay, Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The island that will not be named. That's what I call it.
Yeah. I didn't get that either. But the third option was Charleston. So I ended up getting Charleston, which was nice because it's only like 2.5, 3 hours from Rock Hill, about 2 hours from hour and a half, 2 hours from Myrtle Beach. So
Mm-hmm.
all my family is like right around. So I was pretty happy that I got it. So I reported into Charlie Company, 4th LSB, and it's
And
on the naval.
this is still active reserve, though, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And so I reported in there for I&I duty, and the running joke is everybody that goes on I&I duty tends to get all their medical appointments knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so because it is more relaxed, obviously, than the fleet.
Yeah.
And they had a really nice clinic there at the time. And but I had went through like Back on Track and stuff like that at Lejeune for PTSD and stuff like that. And so I had to continue my treatment because if there's one thing I learned, I listened to my dad on maybe not joining the Air Force or the Army. It's when you're in, anything that happens to you, get it documented.
Yeah.
So I'm a big supporter for veterans' health through the VA, whether you have a good experience or not. Make sure if you're active duty or reserve and you end up on active duty that you get everything documented because it worked out in my favor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a fortunately, right? So I ended up getting med boarded because they deemed me combat ineffective, basically saying that I'd never deploy again. And
Wow.
that was kind of a gut punch.
Yeah.
I had back issues. I ended up having to have spinal surgery. So I had a triple lumbar fusion, got 2 rods, 4 screws, and a carbon fiber cage put in my back and a bone graft in my right hip. Just a lot of wear and tear, basic stuff. I mean, I was a PT stud, And so I put my body through hell for the Marine Corps and myself for my pride. And so I had to suck that up. And it came back down from headquarters Marine Corps that I was going to be transferred to the TDRL, the Temporary Disability Retired List.
Okay.
And I had the option to choose, how I wanted to get paid or whatnot. And it was 70% from the Marine Corps or 90% from the VA. So I took the VA payout,
Right.
I guess you would call it. I still got a retired ID, all the, retirement benefits, whatnot. And, but my income came from the VA. And while I was on the med board, they had what was called Marine Liaison Officer. And every state has one of those. His name was Major Charlie Hall. He was phenomenal. He got me sent up to Missouri, right outside of St. Louis, to a Wounded Warrior retreat thing called the Midwest Marines Foundation.
Okay.
I'm saying all these things again because veterans benefits and stuff are a big thing for me, and a lot of guys don't know about it. So I want to put as much information out there as possible. So I went up there and did this. It was like a 2-week program, and they, it's kind of like CAPS. But there's a lot of guys that have been messed up and stuff there. Like I said, way worse than me. And while I was there, I met Gunny Popaditch. You know who that is?
Yeah.
I met Gunny Popaditch, got a book from him signed and all that good trash. So he's the one that his tank, I think it was the Hercules, the tow or whatever, that pulled down the statue of Saddam.
Yeah.
He took an RP.
He was the one that was on that when it came down, right?
Yeah. And then not long after that, he took an RPG to the back of his CVC helmet, knocked out one of his eyes, and luckily it was a dud, right? But that was pretty humbling experience to meet him.
And he's one motivated individual. I mean, he's still huge advocate on behalf of the Marine Corps and stuff like that, but goes around, he does all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's truly amazing.
Yeah. And I got a story about General Livingston as well, but I'm not going to go into detail about it because he's a Medal of Honor recipient, but he's a good time. I'll say that much. He was the guest speaker at my first Marine Corps ball. He was the oldest Marine. I was the youngest Marine.
Oh, nice.
And we shared some intimate time together on the balcony of a Marine Corps League hotel room. That's all I'm going to say about that. But fun guy. He likes his scotch and cigars, that's for sure. But anyways, I met Gunny Popaditch, and came home from there, continuing my med board, waiting to get retired, and Major Hall put me in contact with a lady that worked at the VA office in Columbia, South Carolina, because that's where it's the capital. So that's where the VA main headquarters is for South Carolina.
Right.
And she was the representative for the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Let me get it clear. I do not have a Purple Heart. I believe in definitely speaking about that because there's a lot of stolen valor out there.
Yeah.
But I don't have a Purple Heart or a combat action ribbon. But they represent veterans. So that's why I wanted to say that. They'll represent you anyways with your VA claims. And about 6 months after that, I got transferred to the permanent disability retired list. So I got retired temporarily in 2012 as a
Okay.
sergeant. I stayed in Charleston, went through the process where you get reevaluated by the TDRL, got transferred to PDRL effective July 31st, 2013.
Okay.
And I've been retired ever since. So 9 years. I've had 4 MLSs, been a lot of places that I didn't know you could do in 9 years. But you can jump on hot fill billets and, you can actually control your Marine Corps career. It doesn't just always have to be up to the needs of the Marine Corps.
Right.
A lot of guys and gals don't know that, but there's a lot of opportunities.
You just got to seek it out. That's the big part.
Yep. And back when I was in the reserves, drilling and doing the funeral details and stuff, I went in the car business. So I'd learned sales, and I really enjoyed sales. And while I was on active duty, I got my bachelor's in business.
Nice.
And I did a fast track program into my master's, which is that certificate back there.
Nice.
So I got a master's in psychology, and with a focus on neuro-linguistic programming.
Wow.
Which I got like hooked on like during the whole civil affairs thing, because a lot of those guys work with like psyops and stuff like that. And so
Right.
I didn't really work with them, but I, learned some things, and it was intriguing to me, controlling a conversation and stuff like that. So after I got out, I went back as a government contractor and worked for, at the time it was SPAWAR, Naval Space Warfare Command. It's NAVWAR now.
Okay.
But I went to work for them, and for a contractor that was did network and systems engineering for various projects.
Okay.
And I did that for like 6 months, and it was remote work. I did have to go to the weapons station, and SPAWAR was like right around the corner from the unit I got out from, the I&I unit.
Right.
So I got to see all those guys and stuff there, which was pretty cool. So I did that, and I got tired of not seeing the sun because I was in front of a computer all day long.
Yeah.
And I was a vampire. Like, I would go outside to the mailbox and the sun would hit me, and I was just like blinded by the sunlight. And I was like, I can't do this. This is depressing.
Right.
So I went back into sales. I went back into car business. It was the only other thing that I knew. And I was really successful with that.
Nice.
Sold like 30 cars a month, and was really, really good at it. But I had an opportunity to come by in telecommunication sales. And I didn't know you could make the type of money you could make doing that. A lot of people make they make a living, but I ended up doing really, really well in sales, building relationships with people. I was able to apply psychology and all that good stuff to it, and just once again take care of people, and they take care of you. They send you their friends and their family, stuff like that. And so it was pretty awesome. I moved up, started with one store, then it turned into 2 stores and 3 stores, and I just copied and pasted what made me successful from the first go around, and I just repeated that, rinsed and repeat, and built people up around me, built leaders, because that's what Marines do.
Absolutely.
And put people in my place that could replace me. And that catapulted me up to becoming a regional sales manager, which is a GM, but over whole regions. So like I had South Carolina, and then I helped run and train stores in North Carolina as well. So it's like 36 stores. And I had some opportunities, but life came at me. Went through a nasty divorce. I thought, losing my military career was something, having to refine my purpose, and I did that in sales, and then went through a nasty divorce, and I didn't see it coming. But luckily, I ended up getting shared custody of my kids because I didn't do anything wrong. And but I live in the Bible Belt, so you're always going to get stuck as a man in the Bible Belt in a divorce. But I have a great relationship with my kids, and my son, he wanted to be a Marine. He'll kill me for saying this, but he wasn't ready, man. He wasn't ready to be a Marine. His junior year, I pretty much coerced him in a good way to join the National Guard, because I talked to him about programs like Green to Gold, potential to be an officer and all that, and the National Guard's got phenomenal benefits. I would have went National Guard if I could have continued my service. But he's a combat engineer.
Oh,
and
nice.
He just got back from Kuwait, but they went over there for the whole Iraq, Syria thing. And so he was over there for a little bit, and he just came home, not home, but he decided he wanted to stay on active duty. So he's out in Texas doing that.
Okay.
And so that's
nice.
pretty much my military career in a nutshell right there. I moved over. I'm been through a lot of health issues, cancer, and COVID did a hurting on me. I had it back to back twice in 2 weeks with a 2-week break. And it did a number on me. I ended up getting GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, which like paralyzes you or parts of your body, and had to go through immunotherapy and stuff for that. And colon cancer, thyroid cancer. I had my thyroid taken out because of the burn pits.
Holy cow!
Those exist in Africa. They're at every U.S. installation overseas.
Yeah.
In the Middle East. So I ended up getting real sick, and I had to essentially lose my job. But fortunately, there's an unfortunately, I say that again, I have that 100% disability from the VA.
Yeah.
So between that and in the process of SSDI, Social Security Disability Income.
Yeah.
I lost my purpose again, so I kind of spiraled and drinking real heavy with my demons, because I've lost some friends, like we all have. One of them I definitely have survivor's guilt over. Josh Blankenship. He was one of my corporals, and he was in mortuary affairs as well, and he was a great guy. But he couldn't deal with things anymore, and So I felt the need to give back, to veterans, and I like making people laugh. So I jumped on the military dark humor train and gradually grew that. And I'm still new to TikTok, like only a couple months in, not even. And, I'm growing a following pretty quick. It went from, the 200 views gel up to thousands. And, I had like 40,000 last week and all that. So I enjoy making vets laugh, and I stay heavily engaged throughout the day. It's good therapy for me to put content out there that veterans, particularly Marines, I involved the Army as well, since I have a background with them. And life experiences that you just can't make up. I put it in comedy. So I've been anti-AI since it came out, but I really dove headfirst into it and picked up a real liking to it, and developing cartoons because I can't draw worth a shit. And that, like realistic images and stuff like that. And I upload all, stuff from my military service and everything. But like I said, I talk to all these guys and offer PTSD support. I mentor several people that built a relationship with on there just in the past couple months. And I take phone calls from them, text messages, and have some pretty deep conversations. And at the end of the day, it makes me feel like I make a difference. Some of the conversations I've had with these guys, to be able to turn that conversation around and then talk to them the next day is
absolutely.
So I plan on my handle on there, username's Commission Possible. It has nothing to do with becoming an officer. I started my TikTok as a sales thing because I can't get that out of my blood. So instead of Mission Impossible, it's Commission Possible. And by the time all my military content started taking off, I was like, there's no turning back now. If I change my screen name, nobody's going to know who I am. So just look out for me on there. You'll type in Commission Possible and you'll see a set of chevrons I designed. They are not Marine Corps related. I'd like to say that. But it looks like corporal chevrons. It has a rocker and it has a handicap symbol in the middle. That's something I picked up from the Warrior Transition Unit and Wounded Warrior Battalion East. So I kind of took it as a running joke and ran with that. But military humor, PTSD support, and motivation.
That's right. So, and that's fantastic thing. And I love seeing guys with the dark military humor, because we can all relate to it. We can all understand it. And one, for you to answer, text messages, phone calls, those types of things is fantastic. So thank you for doing that. That's incredible. And I wish more and more veterans would do that. So.
Yeah, man. Well, you're not just once a Marine, you're always a Marine. And the service, it doesn't end when you take off that uniform,
Absolutely.
So we got to take care of each other because we don't have anybody else.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, shoot, I'm excited that you came on here and did this. So thanks for doing it, taking the time out. Truly appreciate it. And your story is going to be up there with the likes of Chesty Puller, General Lejeune, all those guys up at Marine Corps History Division. So it'll be archived up there. So it'll be fantastic.
Nowhere near close to those guys, but I appreciate it. Nowhere near close.
Ah, come on, don't sell yourself short, man. You know, you
Yeah.
never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks again, seriously, for doing this. Now I do these rapid fire questions at the end. If you're up for some rapid fire questions,
I mean, hit me with it. Let's go.
all right, it's not too bad. Don't worry, don't worry. What's
I
your
ain't worried.
proudest military moment?
Oof. Getting meritoriously promoted to sergeant.
Nice. Okay, I like it. I like it. What is your most embarrassing military moment?
Getting thrown in the drunk tank.
Nice. That's a good one too. Yeah. All right. If you could be one military leader for a day, who would that be?
That's going to have to be General James Mattis.
Okay. Yeah. He is probably the number one individual that pops up every time that I do these. Well, not every time, but probably more than anybody else is him.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. What's one lesson or skill that you learned that you still use today?
I have to put it into two. One that's 15 minutes prior to 15 minutes prior.
Yeah.
Aside from technical difficulties. And the other, hold up.
Yep.
On my desk. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah.
P's.
The 7 P's. That's right. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. In the zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice and what anthem will be playing?
Weapon of choice. Well, it's one mine, any weapon. So whatever I can find.
Okay.
But if I had to choose, I would say a baseball bat. That'd be pretty fun.
Okay.
And as far as what anthem, I'm gonna have to say the Purge song, man, because we all need to get purged.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. All right. What animal best describes your time in service?
Lion for sure.
Oh, okay. Nice. I like it. Oh man. Knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man. I always give time for words of wisdom or anything you want to leave the listeners with. This is your opportunity to just kind of say whatever.
Well, I don't mean to harp on it, but I do. And once again, that is go to medical.
Yeah.
If you're active duty reserve. So let's say that again. Make sure everything's documented. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You were trained to continue the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always going to be in that. Life's going to throw obstacles at you. You just have to overcome them. It's easier said than done, but it is what it is. There is no other alternative. That's something that I had to say to someone the other night on the phone. There are no other alternatives. You have no other alternative but to face it. I can say that just from my own experiences, because just a few months ago, I was in a coma as well with complete liver failure and kidney failure. Oof. And that was a wake-up call to me to put down the bottle. And so alcohol is not the answer.
Right.
It does taste good and it does make you feel good, but there's a lot of negative sides to that as well. And just go all in. I mean, it's all in or nothing, That's it.
All right. So my child is mad at me right now. All right. So yeah, thank you for doing this. Truly appreciate. My mind went somewhere else, but thanks for doing this, man. Truly appreciate it. Man, I had a good time. Hopefully you did. And yeah, we'll have to have you back on again sometime.
I'd love to be back on, man. I've actually, I know your child wants you, but
Don't
when
worry.
you hit me up and asked me if I wanted to do this, it kind of sparked my interest. So I'm kind of tossing around the idea, of maybe starting up my own podcast
There
or
you go, man.
something like that
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, there's a couple of organizations out there that help you get started with podcasting. So I'll put you in contact with them. There's one out of Colorado that I've talked to before, but they kind of set you up with an idea of how to do it in different ways and stuff like that. So they're pretty helpful.
Yeah, man. Just shoot me a message. I'm down to clown.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I'll end this the way I always end all my podcasts, and that's talking about veteran suicide and ways to get help. So for all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some good resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know Cory cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need a helping hand, please give it to them. All right, Cory, one last time, man. Thank you very much. Don't forget, hang out. Don't hang up on me here. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
Semper Fi.
No more 22. Honor the journey and finish the fight.